The future of food. The Great Food Reset. What can I do? There is absolutely no surprise to confirm that the Rockefeller Foundation is behind the Great Food Reset. Most awakening individuals know that the Rockefellers are behind everything to do with allopathic medicine, which officially started with the Flexner Report in 1910. Traditionally, women would tend the sick with a combination of herbal medicines, vibrational therapies, spirituality, compassion, and devotion. The first medical schools appeared in the 13th century in European universities that prohibited women from attending. The Inquisition started around the same time, 1257 to 1816. 9 million witches were judged, tortured, and burnt alive. The way was clear for the monopoly of male priests and doctors on the physical, vital, and mental bodies of humanity. In 1910, in the US and Canada, the elite enforced the second stage of their medical agenda. The Flexner Report was published by the American Medical Association, the AMA, and subsidized by two bankers, Andrew Carnegie and John D. Rockefeller. Before that date, there were twice as many practitioners of alternative medicine as allopathic doctors. The Flexner Report recommended to keep only those approaches that were based on solid material science. As a result, 600 of the existing 650 medical schools were blasted out of existence. The Rockefeller family and their namesake foundation are in many ways the progenitors and the architects of the Great Food Reset. The very term agribusiness emerged from the Harvard Business School. From the beginning of the so-called Green Revolution to the so-called Gene Revolution, the Rockefellers have been there, helping to move things along with their philanthropic donations. They created the Mexican agricultural program, which was criticized from its very inception for trying to standardize and commercialize traditional Mexican farming practices in order to benefit the Rockefellers and their corporate cronies. They created the International Basic Economic Corporation in Brazil to industrialize that nation's agricultural sector, with the explicit aim of hooking its farmers on expensive machinery and Rockefeller petroleum products. It was John D. Rockefeller III who, when sitting on the board of trustees of the Ford Foundation, convinced his fellow oligarchs to join the Green Revolution by founding the Intensive Agriculture District program in India, which exacerbated the disparity between the rich feudal landowners and poor family peasants. And then, of course, there's the Rockefellers' work in Africa, which today takes the form of the Alliance for a Green Revolution in Africa. The AGRA's stated goal is to elevate the single African voice on the world stage. It all sounds nice until you learn that 200 organizations have come together to denounce the alliance and its activities. Of course, the Rockefellers' influence over the global agriculture sector is not simply a thing of the past. One ominous case in point, the Foundation's July 2020 report, released mere months into the fear-demic, predicting that the general health crisis would lead to a very real food crisis, and that America would face a hunger and nutrition crisis unlike any this country has seen in generations. And their proposed solution to this crisis? Subsidies for small farmers? Development of community gardens? Of course not. On the contrary, the Rockefeller Foundation wants further centralization of control over the food supply. No, The Rockefeller Foundation is not done meddling with the food supply. In fact, they're just getting started. Given Bill Gates Sr.'s 2009 admission that he had looked to the Rockefeller Foundation as an example to follow when helping his son set up the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, noting not just the Rockefellers' influence in the field of global health, but also specifically citing their work in agriculture and farming, it's no surprise Bill Gates Jr. is now heavily investing in the Great Food Reset. As many people know by now, Bill Gates became the biggest owner of U.S. farmland in 2021. I wonder why someone who's so obsessed with completely re-engineering the food supply and making us dependent on the lab-grown synthetic food substitutes he funds would be buying up farmland. A real head-scratcher, that one. Unless you've been living under a rock, you've had heard of the Eat the Bugs agenda by now. You know the now ubiquitous propaganda campaign to stop eating meat and start eating insects in the name of what else? Saving the planet. Yes, the World Economic Forum is behind many different aspects of the so-called Fourth Industrial Revolution, and the Eat the Bugs agenda is no exception. Never forget, it was Schwab who popularized the Great Reset, rebranding the old New World Order idea. So what can we do? These few highlights I mentioned are of course incomplete. I have not mentioned the food chain reaction game or the nitrogen reduction schemes being pushed by national governments around the world, or any of a million other relevant players in this grand transformation. No. Open letters and appeals to the government are not the answer to the engineered food crisis or any other crisis we are facing. One has to find the courage to get out of the matrix completely. We cannot sit on the fence trying to continue to use what we consider to be positive in the system and discard what we know to be negative. The knowledge of how to work with nature rather than against it existed long before the current crop agribusiness technocrats came along. The challenge is that we cannot simply opt out partially out of the corporate system. It is imperative that one makes the decision now. The decision is in or out of the matrix. There will be a point in the very near future when, because of cyber attacks or war or geoengineering or fear-demics or mysterious fires at food processing facilities or any other fabricated emergencies, the global food supply will be strained to its breaking point. The simple fact is that even the awakening ones, the 30% or so of black sheep, do not have the courage to face the fact that we are at the end of human animality. White conformist sheep or black rebellious awakening sheep. A sheep is still a sheep. Humanity has reached a point of no return, and this is perfect. We are in an evolutionary crisis. It is time to stop fighting, living with hopium, and believing that we will go back to the outdated practices. The promised Savior is not coming. A few of us will choose individual autonomy, the governance of our individualized spirit within, which is the soul. The Fibonacci death spiral and the crystal life spiral are still on the superimposed overlap until November 2023. Because I have this information, I have consciously chosen the crystal spiral. However, a critical mass of humanity, through their decision and continuous sovereign action, will be aligned with the crystal spiral, even if they do not completely understand what is going on in their individual life. This big picture of the evolution of human consciousness helps to explain clearly and concisely that I am not a sheep, but a sovereign mare, under self-authority and individual sovereignty. I live in love and liberty as a responsible and accountable creatrix. I am all-powerful. I live in joy, peace, and inner order on the spiral of abundance. So what do we have in store for 2023? The end of human fear. From fear to love. The trash can of fears, Personocratia, dedicates the year 2023 to ending human fear so that the true love that we are can burst forth. It is in progress. It is up to all of us to contribute, each in our own way. From the smallest to the largest, the greedy trash can swallows them all without discrimination. Will you join me on this supreme adventure? Infinite love. Let us rejoice, because everything that unfolds in the world of lies is only an illusion, and this world of lies is disintegrating before our eyes exponentially. From hell on earth to paradise on earth, we are creating what most believe is impossible. It is up to us not to comply with any mandates or the coming CBDCs, yet have compassion towards others no matter where they are at on their evolutionary journey. The transitional years that we are experiencing right now will probably last for decades. We have passed the point of no return. All structures of society are collapsing, and this includes family life. Food and energy scarcity will become a huge problem in all developed countries, but especially the ones with cold winter climates and a short growing season. We are inviting you for a long-term stay at the guest house for $100 per week. Monthly rates to be discussed. Books and tools to learn Spanish are included. I will also provide detailed information on how to grow the miracle Sacha Inchi nut. Finally, I can create complex, reconstructive dental work at a cost of about 35% of European and North American prices. A long-term stay at the coffee, avocado, Sacha Inchi farm in southern Colombia will allow one to explore the area and find your individual solution to thrive during the challenging transitional years. Every day, I must reinforce my resolve to move forward on my evolutionary journey and energetically contribute towards the creation of the new species. Please share my videos so that they can reach the conscious individuals that are ready for this adventure. Infinite love.